Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Victor, and I'm going to be your anchor for this training. Also, this is a business analysis series, and we are looking at different business analysis knowledge areas, and we're going to be looking at solution evaluation. Now, it's very critical, it's very important that when you are trying to effect business change, when you're trying to implement some solutions, you really want to evaluate the solution to be sure that is the optimal, is the best solution for that particular given scenario, considering context, considering the environment, considering the need of that particular business. So here we're going to be analyzing what are the different tasks a BA is to perform, and in which elements to explore, which elements is he going to explore, is she going to explore to deliver the best solution for the enterprise. Now, assessment. What does assessment mean to you? So we want to assess, we want to evaluate. Now, the solution evaluation knowledge area describes the tasks that business analysts perform to assess the performance of and value delivered by a solution in use by the enterprise, and to recommend removal of barriers or constraints that prevent the full realization of the value. Now, because like I said in one of the series, that you can have people, you can have processes, you can have even technology at times can hinder full realization of a particular value of a solution. So you want to be constantly evaluating whatever solution that you're proposing so that you can deliver the best value, because value delivery is very key for BAs. And some of the tasks we're going to be performing is to, one, measure solution performance, analyze performance measures, assess solutions limitations. So what are those things that are limiting our solutions to come into good fruition? So assess enterprise limitation. They recommend actions to increase solution value. So that's why you call the BA. That's why you call the business analyst, right? From the pre-project stage, implementing a project, and post-project stage. And at times, evaluating solution is going to come post-project stage, because pre-project stage, the kind of things you are doing is you are trying to do some SWOT analysis, you're trying to do some requirements gathering, you're trying to document the requirement, you're trying to do all of those things that you do before the project starts. Once the project starts, you want to start trying to implement solutions. You want to start trying to propose. You want to start trying to see what is going to be the best way to deliver value for the enterprise. Now, after that stage, like some companies will normally offer support services, offer consulting services, offer advisory services. And the role of a BA at that particular point is to start looking at those solutions that have been proposed. So if you propose that to scale this business, to grow this business, or to ensure that this product gets to market or this solution gets to market, you're going to do A, B, C, D. At this particular point in time, you're trying to now recommend actions to increase the solution's value. Every solution have a particular value, but can we optimize that? And at times, that's why we'll talk about using one stone to kill two birds, to kill three birds, to kill four birds. A simple example is if you want to solve a problem of growth. And to solve that problem of growth, you are asking yourself, okay, how am I going to make sure that this particular product that we have gets to every household in a locality? Now, some companies are going to explore digital means to advertise. Some companies are going to explore building their awareness program around people. Some companies are going to explore building their awareness program around partners. Some companies are going to explore building these awareness programs around critical stakeholders. Some are going to build around distributors. Just like you see in some brands, let's say cement brands, let's say some grocery brands, when they advertise and leverage partnership. They don't advertise to increase brand awareness, to increase ROIs by allowing people to come buy from them. So they leverage partnerships. So they tell 1,000, 2,000, they can peg it at a particular amount and say, okay, we'll just need minimum 1,000 distributors. So those distributors buy from them. Those distributors can even deposit money with them. Then once, some of the benefits is that things like advertisement, things like brand promotion is going to be done on the behalf of those distributors. So on TV, on radio, whatever, when this company now does advertisement, what they're going to do is that contact our distributors nationwide. Now, this is one way to do marketing. So you have other several means where you're going to allow the distributors, or you're going to allow these different stakeholders to take responsibility of the marketing and the rest. You won't even hear the voice, you won't hear the brand messages of the parent company. So all you're going to be saying is, you have distributors, you have partners pushing all of those. Of course, you have other models where it's going to be. So you have a little tweak of all of these different kind of solutions to deliver better value to both the parent company, to stakeholders, to investors. So as a BA, you want to be doing some recommendations and to see how you can increase value. So let's look at the concept model in solution evaluation. So the very first thing is change. Now, these are very important concepts. Change, the act of transformation in response to a need. Recommend a change to either a solution or enterprise in order to realize the potential value of a solution. So if a solution is not giving you best value, you want to be doing what? You want to be doing some recommendation. You want to be doing some change. Now, when we look at need, we don't look at need only as a problem. It's just like some industries, some companies, some niche. You find out that what some people are categorizing as a problem, some other companies are seeing these things as opportunities to be addressed, seeing these things as means which they can get some ROI. Here you're going to evaluate a solution or solution component and be making sure that it's fulfilling the need. That's why it's very key. That's why in most projects, you want to do needs assessment. Why you are doing needs assessment is because you want to make sure that at the end of the day, when you finish up that project, you can deliver value. And this is one of the overlapping goals of the job of a project manager and a business analyst. So a project manager is going to be interested in how can he deliver the project within scope, within time, within budget, within all of the constraints, ensuring a good quality, looking at the environment, looking at stakeholders. The BA is, yes, it's going to be working with a PM, but he wants to make sure that value is delivered. That's why the onset of the project, why a project manager might be looking at scope. The BA is more interested in the need. Because if you pick up scope, if you pick up requirements that don't address the urgent need or the enterprise need or the stakeholder needs, at the end of the day, you wouldn't have been seen to have delivered value. So very crucial. So need that problem or that opportunity to be addressed. Then here in context, we want to make sure that whatever solution I will propose or we want to change or we want to adapt, fulfill those needs. And of course, in solution, a specific way of satisfying one or more needs in context. Don't forget that, in context. Here, you just want to assess the performance of a solution, examine if it is delivering the potential value, analyze why value may not be realized by the solution. Stakeholder, so anybody that is going to be influenced, that's what we call it in project management. If you're going to be influenced, if you're going to be impacted, if you have influence over the project, if you have a say, no matter how small, even if you're interested. Take, for instance, if you want to better deliver, to increase production output for a particular enterprise. So some of the needs are going to be, we need to make sure that we have more trucks leave this facility. And it might call for road expansion. That might be one solution. So of course, you're going to gather requirements. You want to know what type of, what size of road, how you're going to be expanding it, what kind of vehicles are going to apply this road, how long, what's the age of the road, how long do you want it to last? Is it going to be temporary? Is it going to be permanent? You got all of those requirements, all of those needs and all of that. Now you're going to see that there are different stakeholders that are going to be interested, are going to be impacted, are going to even influence this particular change to deliver value. Of course, the values that we want to make sure that we have continued access to the facility. We want to have increased distributor network, being able to come into the facility and pick up goods and go deliver. Now, in project management, we're going to be talking about interest, decision, influence, impact, and people that have a say. In BA, we're going to be looking at anybody that have relationship to either the change, the need, or the solution. You see, there's a very thin line between what the BA is looking at and what the PM is looking at. In some organizations, depending on how small or how big, you can see the BA doing the role of a PM doing the role of a BA, but they have very distinct roles. So it all depends on how the nomenclature, the roles that is being assigned to, and how the company tries to sort out those skill sets. So what a BA is going to be doing here is to elicit, is to gather information from the stakeholders about solution performance and value delivery. Because you want to make sure here at solution evaluation that you're actually looking at what you have done to see if it's performing very well. So in value, we're looking at the worth, the importance, the usefulness of something to a stakeholder within context. In context, the circumstances that are influenced by and provide understanding of. I think I have my slide. I have an issue with my slide here. So in context, we're just trying to look at everything that constitutes us making a decision even, right? So environment, political, inflation, the need itself can be in the context we're looking around, our stakeholders. So everything that is going to influence, that is going to be influenced by this change. So measure solution performance. So why do we want to measure solution performance? So we want to see and we want to collect data to evaluate the effectiveness of a solution in relation to the value it brings. So some solutions are going to bring better value, some are going to bring less value. So here we want to be using some KPIs, we want to be using some measuring metrics to see how each solution is performing. So here you call this tax measure solution performance. So if we look at solution evaluation, so here we say the very first task you're going to be doing is measure solution performance. So one of the things you want to do is to define solution performance metrics. Very, very key. If you don't perform, if you don't atomize what you're going to be measuring, then you don't have anything to measure. So is it going to be a qualitative? Is it going to be a quantitative metric? So for instance, if you say, okay, we want to have 200% ROI at the end of first quarter. If you say we want to produce 1,000 units of item A, we want to produce 200% of item B. We want to make sure that we have 5 new employees every 3 months and grow strength and run the trainer program to increase value delivery. I'll be able to push for more value delivery so that we can recruit more and we can serve more customer base. We can say, okay, we want to have geographical spread. We want to be in the present. We want to have presence in 30% of our population, or we want to serve 30% of our population. We can say, okay, we want our items, our goods to be in 60% of or want 60% of distributors nationwide to have access to our products and services. Those are performance metrics. Now, another thing that has a note here is collect performance measure. So let's look at the details. So define solution metrics. So it's quantitative, it should contain numbers, like I said. That's why I put numbers to those metrics. You see, so percent, so amount, so numbers, so. That's why it's called metrics numbers. And at times it can be qualitative also. In qualitative, it's going to be textual. Things like we want people to be aware. We want undergraduates to be aware of a free training program we are running. So that is very subjective. So there's no quantity to it. There's no numbers to it. Another thing you want to do in 1.3 is to collect performance measures. So some of the considerations are going to be, you want to look at several considerations. You want to look at volume and sample size. You want to look at frequency and timing. You want to look at currency. So let me talk about frequency and timing. In frequency and timing, one classical example is quarterly. Because if you say you want to make 200% ROI, that's good. That's a quantitative metrics. So the question now is, what frequency? What time? Is it every day? Your ROI, is it every day? Is it every 24 hours? Is it every week? Is it every month? So do you have a time bound for it? Is it for 2023? Is it for 2024 and the rest? So measuring solution performance is to look at the value of a newly developed or existing solution. Understanding these things are very key, because after this series, I'm going to be running another series where I'm going to be looking at some case studies, looking at the tools and techniques, and see how we can adapt it to different scenarios. We might be applying it to tech, to healthcare. We can be applying it to business. We can be applying it to different niches. But it's good you understand the concept, so that when you start using any of the techniques, it makes a whole lot of sense to you. Some of the inputs are going to be business objective and, of course, your implemented solution. So you need to define your performance measure. You need to validate them. They need to collect performance measure, right? We've explained this. These are the notes here. So these are the notes. Define solution performance, collect performance measures. So this is how to define it, quantitative or qualitative. Then these are the things you can collect. So what are some of the guidelines and tools? So you have change strategy, feature state description, requirements that is validated, and your solution scope. These are the things that can guide you. So if you don't have what your change strategy is, then it might be difficult for you to measure your solution performance, right? If you don't know what your feature state description is or what they are, then it might be difficult for you to also do a concise and well-targeted solution performance. So the techniques that we're going to be using to do this is acceptance and evaluation criteria, data mining, focus group, KPIs. Let's look at KPIs. Key Performance Index. So metrics and KPIs, what they do is that they measure performance of solution. That's why if one of the duties of a BA is to look at some benchmarks and, of course, come up with some KPIs and metrics, right? That's why if you want to deliver any value, any task, let's say grow a company from point A to point B, let's say create brand awareness for a product, or deliver some sort of value to any enterprise or interested stakeholders, one of the things you want to be doing is to define your KPIs. So if you define your KPIs from the very onset, so it's very, very easy for somebody to tell if you are measuring well, if you are doing well, or you're not doing well. But if you don't have those metrics atomized from the very onset, or across, or during, or before the implementation even starts, then it will be difficult to be able to tell. So you have a lot of back and forth because you didn't define what your solution is. So for B is at the very onset of the project, after you have done needs assessment, one of the things you want to do is to look at what solution you want to deliver, and not just have a broad, subjective, unclear, sometimes irrelevant, non-quantifiable solution. You want to make sure that you have some indicators. So that's how to have very good metrics, very good indicators. They should be clear, they should be relevant, they should be economical, it should make economic sense. Just like somebody that spends, you spent, let me say calculator. I don't know if Google can give me a calculator. Good. So let's assume you want to deliver ROI to a business or an enterprise or a new product. You're launching a new product. One thing you can do is to say, I want to have some metrics. For me as a BA, what I'm going to be looking at most of the times is I'm going to be looking at what is in for me. What value will be delivered, or what value will I be able to deliver to my client? So take, for instance, an item costs $10. Okay, let's say you spent $1,000 to do marketing for a particular product. So you spent $1,000. Okay, let me just say minus $1,000. So let me put this in front. So it's not working. So let me just say you have an item cost $50, and you sold 100 pieces of it. You sold 100 pieces of it. Don't forget, you spent $1,000 in marketing. So you sold, each item cost $50. You sold 100 pieces. But the cost price of each item is $40. So the item is $50 and you sold 100 pieces. The cost price of each item is $40. So if we want to look at some metrics, don't forget we've spent $1,000. So we're trying to say 50 times 100, we're going to get $5,000, but that's not the point. So your gross sales does not amount to your gross profit, does not amount to value. Yes, you have 100 customers in your net. Now, I need to ask myself, what is my profit in selling these 100 items? So I'm going to say this minus my cost price, which is 40 times 100 pieces. I'm going to get roughly about 8,000. Good. Now, 8,000 spent, 8,000 profits. Let's assume that you've taken away cost of goods, cost of delivery, cost of support. There are several other costs. I think in one of these days, I'm going to be doing a mini MBA series that's going to explain to you why some businesses don't grow, because they don't factor in some kind of hidden cost associated with running their businesses. Because you're going to be having cost for growth, cost for cost of branding, cost of goods, cost of running your services. There are several costs that most of the times SMEs, large-scale enterprises don't factor it. And when they don't factor those in, it makes them not profitable. And for big enterprises, when they factor those in, it now looks like somehow they're a little bit premium, they're a little bit expensive. Now, so you have 1,000. So if you check very well, you see that 1,000 equals to 1,000 and you don't have any profit. So at the immediate stance, this business does not have any profit. So we should be asking ourselves, what is going to be our key performance index? What is going to be our metrics to be able to declare that we have profit. So we should be selling above 100 pieces. If we sell 200 pieces, that is when we now start making a profit of 1,000, taking away the cost of marketing. But most of the times, value is not always in numbers as regards profit. Profit can also be in brand awareness. Profit can also be in digital assets, in the sense that you have 100 customers in your net. If you follow up these 100 customers, they can lead to more customers. So in the sales funnel, in the very C stage that talks about the customer's journey, so you're going to very much see that you have about 6 stages. At times, it can be 4 stage: awareness, interest, decision, action. All of this is awareness, interest, decision, action. So you can break it down into 6 stages. Some people can break it down into 7 stages, depending on how you break it down. But the idea is that at this very stage, you have a very large number of persons being aware of your offerings. So people start indicating interest. So people start evaluating whether your company is going to serve their purpose or whether they're going to meet their needs. Then some negotiations start, some discounts on all of that. Then people trying to close the sales and make payments. Then you want to see how this amount of smaller percentage of this big number can come back into the funnel, or refer other persons or become your brand ambassadors to be able to bring in more people to deliver your value. So if you make 1,000 here, doesn't mean that is the end of the road. You can have renewals, and that can give you another $300. You can have these persons share their satisfaction with other persons, and you can get another set of $1,000. So the cycle continues. So while you're trying to look at key performance index, right? In as much as you want to make them clear, relevant, economical, don't always look at the initial what's it called? Initial ROI you're going to be getting. Look at long term, look at brand awareness, look at trust, look at market credibility. All of those things can still count as your metrics. So you have some metrics, you have some structure, and have a way to actually report this performance index. So these are the different kind of techniques that you can use to measure your solution performance. Let me also talk about prototyping. Prototyping is another very, very key, important way to measure solutions. Like for some projects, like you're going to be learning when you use Figma or other prototyping tool, you can actually see if these things, because at the stage of prototyping, it might not be that solution might not be live yet, but you want to test it. That's why you can also bring in vendor assessment. You want to test that particular solution and see how it flows. For a mobile app, you want to simulate it. You want to see what it looks like, what value is going to deliver to stakeholders. And who are some of these stakeholders that can help us measure solution performance? So the customer, domain subject expert, end users, project managers, sponsors, and regulators. What are some of the outputs? So you're going to now have your solution performance measures. So you want to have a way that you can actually measure your performance. So let's look at 8.2, which is analyze performance measures. So the purpose of this is to provide insight into the performance of the solution in relation to the value it brings. So measures collected in tax measure solution performance often require interpretation and sentences to derive meaning to be actionable. Performance measures themselves really trigger a decision about the value of a solution. Some of the inputs are your potential value, or value you're going to get potentially, and of course your solution performance measure. Some of the elements you're going to be considering are risks, trends, accuracy. You don't want to look at some performance measures and be overboard. It's always good to be very, very minimalistic. It's always very good to be to look at the market trends. Imagine that's why you're going to see some programs, some solutions are scam. Why? They go overboard the average, the market average. So some trend analysis is going to help you to know what is obtainable. Let's assume that we are proposing a product for a bank, and we want them to be able to target maybe entrepreneurs. We want them to be able to target maybe salespersons, women, men that sell grocery, food stores, and the rest. We want to propose a product, a banking product, maybe a loan, a solution for their business. Now, of course, we will need to get interest. We will need them to pay interest. We can also deliver a counter program for other classes of same set of persons that want to invest their money and so that they can get ROI. Now you're doing an investment scheme, you're also doing a loan scheme. Now, in trying to look at what solution, how best do you deliver this value, you're also going to be looking at some metrics, right? And looking at those metrics and to see how some of these things perform, you want to look at some market trends. You want to look at some risks associated with saying you want to deliver social value. And that's why you have some solutions. They make some company go broke. They make some companies not able to deliver on their promise because they didn't do proper risk assessment. They didn't look at market trends. How can you be promising, let's say, 200 ROI within 30 days? And what the market trend is roughly about 15%. So a good risk assessment is very key in you analyzing your performance measure. Accuracy is always very important. Looking at trends, looking at the market trends is also very key. Some guidelines and tools is a change strategy document, your feature state description, your risk analysis results, then your solution scope. Some techniques you're going to be using to do this is benchmarking and market analysis, because that can give an idea about what is obtainable. Then, of course, observation, root cause analysis. Let's look at root cause analysis as one of these techniques. So most of the times in root cause analysis, we're looking at why. We're looking at maybe we're looking at when. We're looking at how. So a problem-solving method to identify and evaluate underlying causes of a problem for correction rather than its symptoms. I was speaking to my wife a few days ago. I was telling her about second-order thinking, third-order thinking, and deeper ways of trying to look at what might be the reason why a particular thing is being said. Take, for instance, somebody is saying, I don't like you, this one, that, this, that. A root cause analysis is not just going to be looking at what the person is saying. It's to do some second order thinking, to be looking at the reasons behind why the person is saying what he's saying. So when people say things, you don't look at what they are saying at face value. You're trying to look at the reasons behind what they are saying. Second order thinking, second order differential equation. My first degree is mathematics, so when I say some of these things, it's second order thinking. So in second order thinking, is a tool that will help you examine the long-term effects of your decision. Most people stop at first order thinking. Second order thinking is necessary to make decisions that will stand the test of time. We need to make sure we are okay with more long-term consequences of our decisions today. So in second order thinking, you are not looking at you're not looking at just now. You're not looking at just what the person is saying. You're looking at what's the reason behind what the person is saying. And what will be the cost, not just now, what will be the effect, not just now, but later on in the future. Okay, let's look at some differences between first and second order. So first order thinking is looking at the fake facts right in front of you. You're looking at what the person is saying. You're looking at the consequences of your action now. You're doing some cognitive analysis and making a decision. Second order thinking is about what it is that you don't see and what biases are you carrying as you make your decision. So if you just look at what the person is saying, then you might take the wrong decisions. But if you look beyond what the person is saying, then it can help you better even do what's it called? Do self-management, interact more with people, and deliver better value. So some of the stakeholders that can help you do this analysis is subject experts. That's why subject matter experts are known to look beyond the ordinary, because they've done several projects, they've done several, carried out, worked in several roles. So without even taking actions, they know what is going to be the result. Without taking actions, they understand what will be the likely impact of a particular solution, even if it is not exact solution. They can easily juxtapose, they can extrapolate, they can do some deeper thinking to get out what might be the import, what might be the advantage or otherwise of the particular decisions they are making right now. And at the end of the day, your output is going to be your solution performance analysis. So you're going to always see that we have some inputs, we have some ways we can do them, then we also have the output. Now, in this 8.3, we're going to be looking at limitations. What are the different limitations that our solutions are going to have? What are those things that are going to hinder our solutions? Take this example. You want to deliver value for, let's still use marketing as an example. You have a product and you want to ship it to market and you want to do some form of marketing. If your solution is digital marketing, or if you have a product that you want to deliver to the aged, if you propose a solution and that solution is going to be a digital solution, because here we have an enterprise already that is delivering this solution. Now we want to market it. The point is, how do we cost change? How do we deliver change? How do we deliver better value for stakeholders? Of course, profit ROI. Now, if we just use only digital means, don't forget, most of the target audience are going to be persons that are aged. The point is that there are going to be some limitations because aged people spend little time over the internet. Aged people might spend lesser time on TVs. Aged people might not spend so much time on screens. That's why you see some solutions have to have some backup and alternatives. So you can have solution A, the main solution. You can have a solution that is going to be assisting or making the solution work better, or have some solution that is going to target different niches. So very, very key in looking at what solution that you are proposing. So it's not enough to just say, okay, this is going to solve the problem. This is going to help us deliver value. You need to also go ahead and look at what the limitations might be. So it's to determine the factor internal to the solution that restricts the full realization of the value. Okay. So input is going to be implemented solution, something external, and your solution performance analysis. So some of the elements are you need to identify internal solution component dependencies, so that those things that are the solution is dependent on. Take, for instance, funds. There are some solutions that fund is going to be a huge factor in. There are some solutions that are going to need people. That's why startups are known for companies that leverage and that can grow exponentially in thousands of percent with minimal human factor. That's one example, one way you can describe a startup. So, definition of a startup. The term startup refers to a company in the first stage of operation. Startups are founded by one or more entrepreneurs who want to develop a product or service for which they believe there is demand. Let me put this in context. Characteristics of startup. A company must have a number of criteria, namely scalability, technology. Technology is very key when it comes to startup. Global approach. So most startups, with just 10 team members, they can grow sporadically. Youth, the young, and of course, it can be middle age, then low initial costs, right? So these are some of the characteristics of startup. And one thing they are known for is that they can make millions of dollars. They can make, because they're leveraging technology. So technology can also be an internal issue. It can be something that is going to impact on a solution. So that's why I see most startups, they are going to have a CEO or founder, then they have a CTO. A CTO is going to be the chief technology officer. So that's going to be the guy, the person that's going to be in charge of technology, because technology is very key in implementing solutions. Either the company is trying to solve problems in healthcare, they're trying to solve problems in banking, fintech, they're trying to solve problems in any of the SDGs. Technology is very key, very, very key. So some of the guidelines or tools are change strategy, risk analysis result, and of course, solution scope. Some of the techniques that we're going to be using to try to see if our solution makes sense or not is that we are going to be doing, I think we've looked at some of these things, business rule analysis, data mining, decision analysis, interview. So interview is very key. Let's see how to conduct interviews. So an interview is an organized, formal, or informal approach to elicit information, to gather information from person or persons by asking questions and documenting responses, right? So an interview can help you to assess the solution that you have and to see if there are limitations. So interview is very key. Root cause analysis, and doing some survey, setting up a questionnaire. Let's say if we have that survey and questionnaire. Now, we normally say a survey or a questionnaire is a set of questions given to different persons, right? You don't, a survey or questionnaire is not a set of questions that different persons answer. Different persons have different questions. No, you have a set of 10 questions, a set of 15 questions, and they can you can send it out to people. It can be interviewed, it can be over the phone, it can be the interviewer led, or the person administering the questionnaire. It can be online, on Google Form, on Typeform, on Microsoft Forms. It can be in any way. So what you want to do is you want to collect information about customer, about products, about processes, about attitude of a large group of geographically distributed persons within a short time of a short amount of time. So how you do it is that you prepare the questionnaire. On the channel, I have a properly documented questionnaire methodology guideline. So you can look it up. It's in the data analysis series. You prepare, you distribute the survey, then you document the results. And that's where some basic data analysis comes in. So you can actually use that to look at, you can use that to look at and assess your solutions. Who can help you do this assessment? So customers can do that, subject matter experts, users, regulators, sponsors, and some testers. So what are you going to have at the end of the day? You have a document telling you what your limitations are. And this is what's going to help you properly plan to counter them, to mitigate them, to make sure that you can have something tangible at the end of the day. And let's look at access enterprise limitation. Now, the purpose of access enterprise limitation is to determine how factors external to the solutions are restricting value realization. Enterprise limitation can be external. Solution limitation mostly is internal, because you are trying to look at the limitation of your solution, whereas say you're trying to look at this limitation of external factors, right? So things like regulation, things like politics, inflation, those are those things that you don't have full control over. So solution may operate across various organizations within an enterprise and therefore have many interactions and interdependencies. Solution may also depend on environmental factors that are external to the enterprise. So you want to look at those things. Even climate change can affect whatever kind of solution that you are proposing. So to do this, there are some inputs you need. You need your solution that you've implemented, and of course, you need your solution performance analysis. So how your solution is performing internally, that can constitute or help you to look at what other external factors that might affect this solution. So some of the elements are enterprise culture assessment, stakeholder impact analysis, then you do some organizational structure changes. Some guidelines and tools are business objectives, change strategy, future state description, risk analysis results, solution scope. We've looked at most of these things before now. Some techniques, right? You can use to do this. We've looked at this also. It's benchmarking, brainstorming, determining decision analysis, interviews, item tracking, lessons learned, organizational modeling. You can also use observation. Observation. Now, you don't wait until something happens. You can look at, you can research, you can look at what is happening to others, right? And you can use that to learn. A B, examine work activities firsthand by observing people as they perform their job. It should be active, noticeable, passive, or noticeable. So you can be observing, you can be researching. So you want to have some objectives, you want to prepare for it, you want to then observe, then you want to now confirm your result. So that's a way you can do assess enterprise limitations. Some stakeholders are the customer, domain name subject experts, the BA, end users. At the end of the day, you're going to have a document that tells you what your limitations are. Now, this is the fifth task in the solution evaluation, which is recommend actions to increase solution value. Don't forget that some solutions might have value, but they might not have the optimal value. So what you're trying to do here is you're trying to do some recommendations. You're trying to say, okay, how do we better optimize value? Take, for instance, you want to grow a brand. So instead of just doing a Facebook ad, instead of just releasing a product to market or doing a mobile app, you're trying to see, okay, are there interdependent solutions? Are there other ways that I can optimize this? Are there other ways that could make sure that I deliver better value? So here you want to increase solution value. Then you want to see all the things that can create some form of differences, all the things that can increase the value, and see how to align everything together to have better value. It makes a lot of sense to spend less money and have better value. So various tasks in the solution knowledge area help to measure, analyze, and determine causes of unacceptable solution performance. The tasks recommend actions to increase solution value, focus on understanding the aggregate of the performance assessment, and identifying alternatives and actions to improve solution performance. Take, for instance, instead of sending traffic from, I just remember a certain time, a radio on-air personality contacted us and said, okay, let's do some form of advert over the radio. I said, some kind of services that we offer, I don't feel that radio is the right thing. I feel from research, from observation, from experience, that we use other means, not radio. He said, no, I said, there's a way these things work. So what happened was that he got the script, he didn't get a final script, and he went on air. Now, that is a solution to deliver value. The value here in our KPI can mean increased number of client base. It can be, let's say, 100. Now, the point now is we have a solution. The solution is let's do a radio ad. Now, is that the best way that that solution can be implemented? Same thing for a newspaper ad. Is that the best solution for this particular value you want to deliver? Okay, let me tell you a better solution. You can automate the entire process. That's why you're going to see a radio ad is going to say, if you're interested in this, don't call, send an SMS to a particular number, a WhatsApp message, and you're going to get an automated response. That way is a way to do what? To automate the process. Take, for instance, you're doing a radio ad, you're going to have thousands of persons trying to call you, and that phone number is not going to go through. Definitely. You will just get, let's say, 10, 20% at the end of the day. So some people can say the number, but some people want to actually check in there and there. But a better way to optimize still that radio ad is to say, if you're interested and you're going to get a particular free offer, you're going to send an SMS to this particular phone number, and automatically we're going to send you a particular gift. What's going to happen? You have increased the solution value. So what is going to happen is that if 1,000 persons are listening and 500 persons are interested, it then means that 100 persons are going to send an SMS to that particular number, and they're going to get the particular bonus or that particular free item. At the end of the day, you're going to have like 20, 30 persons now pay for a particular service. That way you've optimized the value. Take, for instance, a solution by you saying, okay, place a Facebook ad. That is a solution, but that is not an optimized solution. You wouldn't have increased sufficient value by just placing a Facebook ad. So what would be a better value? So you can say, okay, have a website, a landing page where you're going to collect people's name and email address. When people access the website, when people access the Facebook ad, they click and they go to that particular website, they put in their name and email, they get a particular bonus, and they get into an email list. That way, a great percent of persons that are interested in that particular service delivery, you're going to have their contact. And even if they don't purchase at that moment, we call that digital asset, because that is still value. Compare it to just having that Facebook ad and expecting all of those people to call you or shoot you an email or whatever, or telling them to just buy now. So that is a very poor solution delivery. That's why I see some persons spend a lot of money to deliver some solutions and they don't get value. Why? The amount of money being spent is far, 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 far more than the value they are receiving. So you always want to look at how do you improve, how do you optimize solution performance. Very, very important. And increase value realization. So some of the inputs are going to be your enterprise solution limitation, the external, and of course your solution limitation, the internal limitation. So those are those things that is going to help you decide how best will it be for you to increase value. So some of the guidelines or tools are your business objectives, your current state description, and your solution scope. Some techniques you can use to do this is decision analysis, very, very key. Financial analysis. If you check the financial analysis of your decisions, it can help you to do. You can also prioritize. Prioritization is very, very key. That's why you're going to be looking at different solutions. You want to see which one is going to give you the best value. Then you make your decision. So some recommendations, some persons that can do these recommendations are your customers, are your domain name subject expert, your end user, your regulator, your sponsor. At the end of the day, you're going to have a recommendation of what should be done to improve the value of the solution. Okay, if you have questions, don't forget to ask in the comment section. Don't forget to ask a question if you are taking this training, and I'm going to see you in the next series. In the next series, we're going to be looking at underlying competencies. So this is very key because there are some skill set that a business analyst should have, and we're going to be considering that last. What are some competencies? What are some kind of skill set that you need to have to become a better BA?